and welcome to the space that gives you inspiration on work, on life, and how to balance both worlds. Welcome also to the third and final third of 2022. Welcome to September. And I love the final months of the year because for me, they're actually the start of the next year. I start to think about my next year. And so September, October are really my planning months. September is a month that I'm kind of looking at what I've done from the year before, because remember, now for me that means my years don't start in January. They really start in September. So I'm looking at the year, I'm seeing what I have accomplished, what I've not accomplished, what more needs to be done, and then I have like this final leg of 4 months to make sure that that gets done, you know what I mean? So, and then to start looking at next year. So I like this final month, obviously because it also has December, which got me my birthday, got Christmas, got the New Year. So I love the third, and the fourth quarter of every year. So I want to kind of take you on a journey of what I go through when I'm planning and when I'm thinking through my year and the year that's coming. And I want to do that with this theme. The theme for this month is going to be living intentionally, living a life of intention, intentional living, all of those things, right? Just how in my mind, how, you know, after I got into a depression, how I then decided I'm not going to allow life to happen to me. I'm going to make life happen. You know what I mean? So living more intentionally. That's a theme this month. And for this week, the topic I would like us to dig into is really about planning. And so I kind of want to share with you what my planning process is like, and hopefully that can encourage you, and maybe you should save these videos for the next time that you're thinking about planning. So this week in particular, I want us to look at how I set or my planning process for the entire year. So my annual planning process is what I would like to talk about this particular week. So first of all, the first thing that I do is I go away. Like, I have to go away. I never plan at home for the year. I go away. I used to go away on my own, but 2 years into going away on my own, an accountability partner came by. And so we actually go away to plan for the year together. So we go away to a private place, a quiet place, where we can sit down and talk through the year. And it's serious planning. It's no, we don't play around with this planning process. Then when we've gone away, we'll usually come with what we had planned the year before. Okay, so we actually have a planning, kind of like a planning pack, right? And so the planning pack has what we had planned the year before. And so usually we'll go away for a weekend, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll usually use Friday afternoon, we meet in the afternoon to discuss the year before and how we did, and how we think that that is going to affect our incoming year. Then the time comes for us to start planning for the incoming year, okay? And usually I would start by setting our annual goals, okay? Now these goals have to be SMART, so specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, or which I don't know which school of thought you use for the R, but some people will use relevant, other people will use real or realistic. I usually use realistic because it makes more sense for me. And then T is time bound. So those goals for the entire year. And I think I've talked about this in a previous video, that the goals that we set, one, are based on the 8 well-beings. And those are our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being, our social well-being, our environmental well-being, our intellectual well-being, our emotional well-being, our financial well-being, and our occupational well-being. So it's based off of those well-beings as per what we saw in the future, kind of like a vision of what we saw when we were 60, what I see when I'm 60, and then backtrack it into 10 years, into 5 years, into 3 years, and then into 1 year in particular. What is it that I want to get accomplished by the time I am 60, by the time I am 80, but backtracked or broken down, yeah, into what do I need to do every year to be able to get to what I see myself being when I am 80. So if I see myself being fit and strong, what am I doing by the time I am 40, by the time I am 35, by the time I'm 30, by the time so each year, what is it exactly that I am doing for me to be able to be fit and strong by the time I'm 80? So then we start to look at this year in particular, what will we have to do to ensure that we are strong, fit, and healthy by the time I am 80. So anyway, so we look at so let me say so that I make it so much easier. Makes more sense for me. So I will look at the entire year then, set the goals for that year, and then according to the 8 well-beings, and then I will think about the one that's most priority for me for that particular year. So yeah, my life has all of these well-beings, but there's one of them that has maybe bugged me based on the year before. Maybe I didn't accomplish much and it's really tugging at my heart, or there's one that I accomplished a lot and I just kind of want to go even faster. So I just look at each of those well-beings and pick out the ones that are most priority to me, and I put them in their prioritization categories. So, which one comes first, which one comes second, which one comes third, stuff like that. Then I set objectives, okay? So after I've set my goals, I'll now, a goal is more strategic, okay? So now I'll set those objectives. To get to that goal, what then do I need to do? And usually I will divide them into either 4 or 3 based on the quarters, okay? Or on the thirds. So I'll usually have a goal, and if I divide it into 3 main objectives, it means that I will most likely set the time frame according to the quarters of the year. I mean, if there are 3, that's to the thirds of the year. So the first third, it means that the first objective, I need to be done with it by Jan, Feb, March, April. And then the second objective, May, June, July, August. Then the third objective, September, October, November, December. So that if those three objectives will ensure that I have accomplished that goal. If, however, a particular goal can be broken down into 4 objectives, then that means I'm going to divide it according to the quarters of the year. So Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So do you see how I already have time frames for when I am supposed to do certain objectives, which 4 objectives should be able to help me have accomplished my goal. So if I say, for example, I want to save 50 million, let's say 40 million this year, okay? So it means for me to save 40 million this year, if I break it down into 4 objectives, it means 10 million shillings every 3 months. So Jan, Feb, March, that's 10 million, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. By the time I'm done, if I've saved 10 million for each of them, then that means by the end of the year, I will have saved the 40 million that I said that I would save. And then I will even further break it down and say, okay, so if I have said Jan, Feb, March, I'm going to save 10 million, it means each month I need to save 3.3 million shillings. Does this make sense? 3.3 million shillings. And I can even break it down further and say, okay, if each month I'm supposed to save 3.3 million, that means I need to save maybe about 1.1 million shillings every week, or maybe like 800,000 shillings every week for me to be able to hit 3.3 million at the end of the month, and then therefore 10 million by the end of the quarter. Does that make sense? How then you're breaking down your objectives? So that's what we do on that day when we are actually planning. We are real breaking things down, okay? And then after that, I will mark the important dates into my calendar, okay? Now that I have said, oh, by Jan, Feb, March, I should have saved this amount of money, Well, what marker can I put in my calendar to show me that I have actually saved the money that I have said that I will have saved? Ooh. Or if it says that I should therefore be looking for a job, at what time should I be having a job? So I'm going to mark that time in my calendar. And when I mark it, I'm actually going to mark it with a reminder, right? Now, remember, this is in all the 8 well-beings. I've just shared with you financial, which one has saving, the saving. But think about this for all the well-being. So I will set all my important dates into the calendar. Now, the way I set the important dates into the calendar goes like this. I first start off with public holidays. Most times, most calendars will have public holidays. That's a good thing. But usually, I'll first set out all the public holidays, okay? And most times, I want to leave the public holidays absolutely free, because anything can happen, okay? And I just kind of want to enjoy, or I really actually just want to rest on that day. So I'll usually leave my public holidays free, okay? Then the next thing that I tick off are things like birthdays. Now, that changed for me this year, because this year we were discussing and we're like, well, someone's birthday is actually going to last a lifetime. Like, Bianca's birthday will always be 23rd of March every year, until she's 150 years old. So why in heaven do I have to put in her birthday every year? So we now changed, and now we do we schedule the birthdays and actually put the birthday and put the reminders for forever. We put in the date for forever, okay? So her birthday is in my calendar for forever. Blake's birthday, everybody's birthday is in my calendar for forever. So I don't need to do birthdays anymore. But there's things like events. So say, for example, there's weddings, there's kwanjulas. Now, the only problem that I've had with that one is most times people don't know the dates they're going to get married. So I usually have challenges with that. But whoever has told me they are going to get married, at least there's an indication of a date. So if you know there's a friend of yours going to get married, call them up, say, hey, you said you're getting married. What are the dates that you guys are thinking of? And then kind of, mark them off or tick them off, knowing that, well, my friend's Kwanjula or wedding might be around this time. So Kwanjula's weddings, those different events, Thanksgivings, we have a lot of those, yeah? So just coin them in. Big birthdays like parents' 60th birthday, 25th anniversaries. Just be able to put those inside the calendars. Then I look at my weekends. All of my weekends. I just look at the calendar and look at all of my weekends. And I now start to assign. And usually I'll start with the routine activities. So for example, kids' dates. I have to go on a date with the kids every month, okay? So which weekend will that be every month? And usually I'll pick like the fourth weekend of every month. Things like friends and family visits, right? When can those be in those weekends? And this is really because I needed to work on my social well-being. And then I'll look at the weekdays, okay? And I know I've shared before that each day of the week I do different activities that are under different categories. So say, for example, my Mondays are my admin days, my Tuesdays are my technocrat days, my Wednesdays are my marketing and customer service days or customer days. My Thursdays are my meeting days, and my Fridays are my secret days. I've never told you guys what I do on Fridays. But anyway, so something every day of the week happens. So now I start to look at, on these days, when will we have, for example, at work, board meetings? When shall we have staff meetings? When will we have team buildings? Because usually my work week has my occupational well-being, which is really, the weekdays are my work weeks, which have my occupational well-being. So when will those important days be? When are departmental meetings? When I actually start to coin them out and put them into my schedule. Now, if this sounded either interesting to you because you would like to be able to do the same to you, or even confusing to you and yet you would like to have your year planned out, guess what? The annual personal planning getaway is here. And this is a getaway where we together go away and I work with you on how you can plan out your entire year. exactly 1 year before, okay? We would plan out our year right from January all the way to December. And it's scheduled, the annual personal planning getaway is scheduled for Friday 28th, 29th, and 30th of October, okay? Friday starting 2 p.m. and all the details, I'm going to leave them right now in the description box so you can know where we will be, what time you're expected there, how much you'll have to invest in this, right? And where we will start from. Everything, all the details are in the link in the description box or even in the first comment from myself, okay? Until next time, I can't wait to see you when we'll talk about my quarterly